So my boyfriend broke up with me yesterday. And considering 2 weeks ago we were touring homes to buy together in Minnesota, it's safe to say I am very blindsided by it. But I guess my job isn't structured enough and I'm not motivated by anything, even though I've literally worked my butt off to get to a place where content creation pays my bills and I have my own personal styling business. But for some people, if it's not a traditional 9 to 5, it doesn't count.
Wow, that's amazing.
Oh yeah, sure, you definitely look blindsided there, sister. I can tell from the fire in your eyes and the emotional rage in your voice. You are truly and utterly blindsided at the fact that your ex-boyfriend decided that living with you would have been a terrible idea. I'm sure the fact that your income is based solely on the number of views as well as what little business you can drum up wasn't a concern when you were shopping for houses in this friggin' market. Come on, just be serious for a second for once in your life, will you, woman? This guy clearly realized that living with you in a newly purchased house would have been a massive financial liability for him. You're not nearly as successful as you think, and because you have zero job security, the second your business goes under and your following dwindles, he's on the hook financially for a dullard who's clearly been making this man as miserable as humanly possible. So yeah, if you are blindsided, you're either incredibly stupid or you're insulting your entire audience, or both. I wouldn't put it past you there either.
But I just got off a call with my management team and I gave them the skinny, I filled them in, and 15 minutes later, this 6-pack of crumble cookies was at my door, along with a message that read, "You're our Lexi Lundy and there's nothing cooler than that. We love you." I love them. They are literally the best management team ever. And my bottom line is that you should really only have people in your life that see your worth and your value and support you even when you take an untraditional route. Really even more so when you take an untraditional route, because anyone that's done it knows it is not easy. Anyways, it is now my mission to become the next Alex Earl. So follow along because we're about to do our big one and be expecting a taste test of all this deliciousness soon.
No.
Woman, there is a difference between taking an untraditional route in your career and thinking that your social media career has a future. It's only as valuable as your looks, and judging from your dead eyes and emotionless face, you're basing this entirely on your looks, and those won't last forever there, darling. That man is practicing exactly what you're preaching. He rid himself of a valueless freeloader who thinks she's better than the people around her. And instead of facing this reality, you're just gonna gorge yourself on overpriced cookies as you fully display your false sense of moral superiority to the entire planet. You might as well. You only have a few years left in the tank before everyone starts to lose interest in anything that you say. Hell, I'd even be surprised if you last that long. I've only listened to you talk for 60 seconds and I'm already bored to tears. And I'm not gonna lie to you, sister, I have seen grass growing contests that were more enthralling than the prospect of watching you shove cookies down your gullet.
You're boring! You're fucking dull! You have nothing to say! You are a one-hived mind twat waffle!
Put a finger down if you made a catfish profile on Bumble after breakup just to see if your ex is back in the app, but at the same time look for someone to talk to because you needed someone to talk to because it was in the middle of the pandemic, but you just needed someone to talk to because that wasn't part of your circle. And meeting people organically was basically impossible and was difficult to do because of the restrictions, and since you're a doctor, no one really wanted to meet up with you, and so you told guys on the app that you weren't a doctor, and eventually you swipe right on this guy who seemed okay and was actually attractive, and you matched.
No, and I don't care.
Put a finger down if you ever found yourself on the wrong side of the tracks on a dark and stormy night with nothing but $5 to your name and a lukewarm cup of coffee. You're hungover, heartbroken, and Johnny Dominguez is after you. He's got himself a switchblade knife, a chip on his shoulder, and a massive grudge. What was supposed to be a day of mild amusement at the Renaissance Fair has ended with a case of mistaken identity and has turned into something that's gone a little bit out of hand. 50 large is what he says you owe him, even though you've never borrowed a dime from anybody in your life. The cops are on the take and they won't help you, and nobody's answering their phones because everybody who knows you is staying away. When Johnny Dominguez puts a price on your head, anybody that knows you might end up dead. It's a pretty easy rhyme to remember. So there you are at the edge of the world, nowhere to run and no place to hide, and it's going to be a long night. Oh, just in case you can't see, I did just put down 2 fingers.
And since it's Bumble, you had to say hi first, and he actually responded, which kind of surprised you, but not really, because the girl's photo that you stole looked attractive anyway. And so a bit after of a conversation, he stopped replying, and then you kind of forgot about him. And then about 3 weeks later, you found your conversation again and messaged him again, and he replied and asked for your Messenger or Telegram, and you gave him a fake Telegram account again, and you...
Boring.
Put a finger down if you ever witnessed a horrific chainsaw juggling accident. The juggler, who's profoundly talented, just got off the phone with his lawyer who was having an affair with his wife and was currently suing him for allowing his heart to be stolen by the juggler's wife. The next call was from his son, who disowned him because he was dared to by one of his classmates. Then he gets a call from the library to remind him that he owed $32 in overdue fees, so a pretty typical Tuesday for this guy. He's getting ready for his performance when some attention-seeking TikTok ne'er-do-well runs up and throws a rock at his eyeball before he can juggle one chainsaw, resulting in a black eye and an unreasonable amount of broken hopes. It's not that you spent any money to watch the chainsaw juggler or anything. You were just there to show your support and solidarity, only to find that support shattered thanks to the hands of a TikToker who thinks assault and battery isn't a crime if it's being done for internet clout. Finger and a half on that.
You start talking until he finally asks to meet up with you, and so you had to reveal to him that you were catfishing him, and that you're not actually the girl in the photo, and that you're a doctor, and that if you weren't really his type, it's okay, but he said that you looked okay and that he was impressed with your doctor. And so you meet up and you fell in love, and now you're marrying him tomorrow.
Hell! Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!
Put a finger down if you ever crashed someone's Valentine's Day party. You didn't know this individual or anybody who was going to be there. You didn't know if it was pro or anti-Valentine's Day, but you didn't care. You smelled the savory smell of Salisbury steak, and even though you're not big on Salisbury steak or even sure what is Salisbury steak, you arrived to see what you could see. You already thought of a semi-convincing cover story that would probably go well with anybody who wasn't too inquisitive, but the second you walk in, you realize it wasn't a Valentine's Day party, but a Valentine's Day themed wake. Now, things are so awkward that no matter what, you're kind of boned. Had you known it was a wake, you never would have gone, but the smell of Salisbury steak was just too good to pass up. So the second someone asked you about the details, you bolted for the door and prayed to the intergalactic space god Klubaturn, all hail, to keep you safe, and it worked. Partially. Without getting into too much detail, let's just say you're no longer legally able to eat Salisbury steak ever again. No fingers for me this time. It wasn't Salisbury steak.
Hi, we have to take a moment for some shameless self-promotion.
This segment was brought to you courtesy of the fine members of the Bounty Board who are generously helping to support this channel. Thank you so much, gentlemen and gents. You have most certainly earned a perusal through the DVD collection of the intergalactic space god Plemgormachar. All hail! And if you're interested in supporting the channel, check out the Bounty Board over on Patreon, where for $5 a month you get access to exclusive content you're not going to find anywhere else, as well as a personalized shout out and a producer credit. It's a great way to help out the channel at a great price. The link is in the pinned comment down below.
I'm gonna share something with you that might be hard to hear, but you probably need to hear it. They knew what they were doing. They knew that their actions would affect you, and they knew that their actions would probably hurt you, and they chose to do it anyway. And I know that hurts because you invested time and energy and love into this person. Someone who you didn't think was capable of intentionally hurting you. So it's time to move on, and it's time to let go.
Sweet. You couldn't ignore me if you tried.
Well, I'm gonna share something with you that might be hard for you to hear, but nobody cares. It's not our problem that you constantly chose men who didn't care about you, and it's kind of ridiculous that you think any man that leaves you is intentionally hurting you just because he can. I know it's gonna hurt to hear this, but the vast majority of men on this planet aren't comic book supervillains. We don't live our lives coming up with these dastardly plots just to hurt you. We have better things to do, like Roman candle accuracy tests or seeing how far we can successfully Hadouken a bowling ball. If we're doing some form of plot, it's typically ironclad plays for ultimate dodgeball over at Skeeter's house. We don't have time to make your life miserable. Why would we? You got that job all lined up without our help, and we're certified gents. We would never dream of taking something from you as precious as your own misery.
Remember that no amount of loving somebody more will have them wake up to your worth or start appreciating what they've shown you they already don't. Time to close the door. Because anybody who puts themselves in a position to lose you no longer deserves access to you. You don't need closure from toxic people, and you don't need closure from somebody who isn't self-aware enough to know that their actions hurt you in the first place. You'll never find the answers in somebody that can't even comprehend your value. And you deserve somebody who thinks that you are too important to lose. Somebody who knows what they have when they have you.
Who are you talking at?
Woman, just say what you really want. Everybody knows that closure is just modern woman talk for getting in the last word. You want to tell this guy how badly he supposedly hurt you. You want to rip into him and hope you make him feel guilty. But most importantly, you want so badly to make him feel like he's missing out on you and to swear an eternal vow to forever change his ways to be with you and make you feel like you're the princess you know you are in your heart. You make these videos to quench your unquenchable thirst to shove your nose into the business and drama of people who are literally of no concern to you. But that's already a given. I mean, come on. If you weren't doing that, then you'd have to justify your existence to the world by doing something useful with your time and life. And between you, me, and the wall, we both know that's just not possible.
I know it, your family knows it. Dogs know it.
I don't believe that all people are equal. Now, I do believe that all people should have equal rights, but I don't believe that each individual person is the exact same value as another person. I think there are some people in this world that are more valuable than others and that contribute more to society than others. I think there's people that have more capabilities than others. So while yes, I believe everybody should have fair protection under the law, I do think if we were in a scenario where it was, oh, we have to kill off some people to save the many, that there are obvious metrics that can be used to make that determination that have to do with a person's value to society. Like, obviously, I think Einstein had much more value to society than Hitler did.
Say what now? What now?
Well, here's a new one. Here's a woman who thinks that everybody deserves equal protection under the law and then tries to make an exception for literal genocide. I mean, the amount of brain cells you have to kill in order for that to make any kind of logical sense is so staggering that even coma vegetables are looking at you with confusion, woman. What you are proposing is that some people deserve to live while others deserve to die based on standards that make no sense. Who exactly would be considered of value to society? Does the male construction worker have as much value as the woman who's been treating her womb like a toxic waste dump from the 1980s, but she gets preferential treatment because she's a woman? Or what about that professional golfer? Would he have more value than a father who works 3 jobs to support his children? You see the problem here? Well, of course you don't. You're trying to talk like you're a smart while trying to justify mass murder. And trust me, sister, you're out of your league when it comes to this one. And I personally cannot wait to see how you justify this even further. This ought to be good.
So therefore, these two people aren't equal. Einstein had a higher value. So yeah, I do place my self-worth above a lot of other people because I inherently think that I'm a more valuable person than a lot of other people on this earth. And let me clarify that I believe your value comes from your abilities and not anything external. I think throughout history, a lot of people have placed value on the color of your skin, the color of your hair, the color of your eyes, what's your gender, what's your sexual orientation, what's your religion. People throughout history have placed an insane amount of value on these things, and I think all of these things are stupid. I don't think any of that has anything to do with your value as a human being.
That's stupid. You're stupid. Stop being stupid.
All right, woman, just because Chad won't date you regularly doesn't mean that you can call for the mass culling of men. We're not the cause of your problems. Most of us couldn't care less about your problems or your fifis, but it is awfully convenient for you to justify genocide and then immediately make yourself exempt from this calling because you feel like you have some value to society and you don't even mention what that value is. It's clearly not your knowledge of history or basic common sense, and it's clearly not your intellect because if none was to be found in your skull, it would be an improvement of what you currently possess. You clearly have no idea what you're talking about, but instead of just thinking that justifying genocide might not be a strong intellectual talking point, you're just gonna dig yourself deeper into this god-awful mess. I mean, seriously, woman, you have literally no idea what you're talking about, so do the planet a favor and just shut your mouth already. And that's gonna do it for today's video, gentlemen and gents. And as always, if you find that my particular brand of comedy is bringing you to the brink of laughter, then scroll on down and click that like and subscribe button. Ring the notification bell. Be sure to share this video and to leave some comments so we can give the good old-fashioned middle finger to the YouTube algorithm. One last final thank you to the Bounty Board for your support of this channel. Link is in the pinned comment down below. Thank you for checking out the new video, and until next time, peace out, homies.